What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Last time, we left off with a shocking turn of events. Not only was Buu awoken, but somehow he was able to absorb Vegeta and Nappa. And right away, the gap in power is clear. Kakarot, Raditz, and Gohan couldn't do anything, nor could anyone else in their group. We left off the last part with Vegeta appearing in front of Kakarot, with a menacing grin on his face. For this part, let's set a like goal of 3,000 likes, and once we hit that, I'll continue this series with another part. Anyways, let's pick up from here. So what does Buu exactly want right now? He's shown his superiority. Now that he has Vegeta and Nappa absorbed in him, he's more than strong enough to show this. It seems like the group stands no chance against him, and he's pretty bored. He knows they won't put up a good fight. No longer will they toy with him. This is where the fight ends. With his hand stretched in front of Kakarot's face, he begins charging the beam. Although he will show some mercy. He asks Kakarot if he has any last words. Kakarot weakly smiles and says the rest is up to Raditz, Gohan, and everyone else with them. He then quickly jumps into Super Saiyan 4 once more, as Buu laughs, making his beam larger. What, a sign of rebellion? What does this idiot think he's gonna do now? Quickly, Kakarot moves under Buu's arm, then hugging Buu. Raditz and Gohan wonder what he's planning, and then they realize what he's doing. If Buu's gonna kill him regardless, Kakarot wants to go out on his own terms. He begins glowing, his energy is at the max right now, and even Buu is confused. As Kakarot glows more and more, he then reaches his peak, channeling all of his energy into a controlled explosion, aimed right at Buu. Slowly, Buu begins disintegrating as Kakarot grows brighter and brighter, telling everyone to stand back and saying goodbye. And then, the full blast appears. In an instant, the area is coated in ki. It's almost as if the entire planet is shaking from this explosion. The entire area is leveled, all the clouds above part revealing a clear sky. Kakarot explodes, self-destructing in an effort to kill Buu, or to at least hold him off. The explosion creeps closer as Shin then teleports everyone away, with Gohan and Raditz wanting to stay. Thankfully, Shin was quick enough to get everyone out of there, and they're now all in the sacred world of Kais. So let's do a quick head count right now. Present at the fight is Chi-Chi, Tenshinhan, Krillin, and Piccolo, alongside the obvious Raditz and Gohan. Everyone there is just confused, until the realization slowly sets in. Did what they think just happened actually just happen? Shin looks in his crystal ball and realizes it appears so. Kakarot sacrificed himself, either in an effort to kill Buu or to save everyone. If it actually killed Buu, well, that remains to be seen. But in terms of saving everyone, it seems he did his job. Of course, Chi-Chi loses it, with everyone else in a state of shock. Gohan and Raditz feel the worst as well. After all the stuff they've been through, this is how he dies? The worst part about it seems like Buu didn't even die. He seemingly vanished, but Shin can tell that Kakarot didn't kill him. It dealt severe damage to the Majin, but he eventually regenerates, although he has lost a considerable amount of energy. He's clearly been weakened a bit. But there's a silver lining. Buu assumes that Kakarot was an idiot and killed everyone else in the explosion. He doesn't sense anyone else, or even knows where they could have gone, so Buu assumes everyone is dead. That's actually kinda boring for him. Was it that easy to prove his dominance? I mean, he did show it, but was it really that easy? You know what? He feels a bit underwhelmed. Well, before he completely destroys Earth, he may as well have some fun and enjoy its food. Buu goes around terrorizing cities, looting any stores for food, and then turning entire populations into candy. Once he eats everyone and everything, then the Earth itself will be destroyed. Meanwhile, on the world of Kais, Raditz worries about Bulma and Trunks, and also has to comfort Chi-Chi, who is also trying to train because she thinks that she can kill Buu herself. Her original sadness is gone, and now she's angry. But of course, she's not really going to be able to do much. But after this time has passed, there is some hope. Shin has the idea of getting someone to use the Z-Sword, so Raditz goes for it, being one of the strongest in the group. Shin wanted Gohan to do it because he seemed like the strongest here, but Raditz is angry and is set on killing Buu. He wants to defend his family, as well as being the one to avenge his brother. So, in the meantime, Gohan trains with Tenshinhan, with everyone else training with each other. It seems like a long shot, but they may be able to get stronger and actually face Buu later on. Gohan's actually surprised. In his training with Tenshinhan, the Kaioken seems to have really paid off. While the Kaioken is still a draining technique, Ten has been able to better regulate it, not only being able to access it at higher levels, but being able to hold it for longer. Ten's training has clearly paid off, and Gohan can tell. He lived up to his role as a rival for his father and his uncle. And speaking of his uncle, Raditz tries going Super Saiyan 4 while pulling out the Z-Sword, and he pulls it out, but just the hilt. It seems he broke the sword before he even got it out of the stone. Was that supposed to happen? Well, even though he doesn't get to train with the Z-Sword, thankfully, this means that Elder Kai is freed. Once they all learn who he is and what happened with him, Elder Kai is of course going to offer some help. Seeing as Raditz was the one to break the Z-Sword, it seems fitting that he will be the one to get the ultimate form. Elder Kai assumes if Raditz is strong enough to do that, well, he's worthy of the form and he'd probably benefit the most from it, besides someone like Gohan. Although, it is going to take a bit of time. Raditz likely has a lot of latent potential here. The thing is with Gohan, he's a hybrid Saiyan, so of course that would mean he has more, as it's been explained in the series multiple times. Raditz would most likely have less, but that's not to say this ritual isn't going to be beneficial for him. No, it's going to be very beneficial in terms of boosting his power. He'd see a huge increase in strength, and the ritual would actually be shorter for him. Unlike Gohan, it would probably only take a day for Raditz to complete his ritual. And while that kinda seems like cutting it close, they decide to go with it. At the rate Boo's destroying Earth, they may still have some time, so they might as well let the ritual go on. Of course, Boo's a little bored right now. So on Earth, while he is destroying stuff and turning it into candy, he is gonna take his sweet time, no pun intended. I mean, maybe if he's lucky, he'll find someone else strong to fight, because otherwise it seems like his job is done here. A day or so passes, and it seems Boo was right, because he eventually comes across another strong fighter. He suddenly senses a new power arrive on Earth, and it's oddly familiar. It seems like someone he fought before. Behind him, he hears footsteps. He turns around and he sees Raditz is standing there, in his base form. Boo's confused. He thought Raditz died when Kakarot killed himself. Not quite. Not only is Raditz alive, but he's much stronger than normal. He powers up ready to face Boo. In his new ultimate form, he will avenge Kakarot. Boo thinks he's bluffing, until he's hit by a punch from Raditz. The punch sends him flying, and just as soon as he gets up, he's hit again by Raditz. Raditz is enraged, and he's set on killing Boo. Angered, Boo tries to counter with a powerful Gallic gun, but Raditz then launches his own beam, countering with a Kamehameha. The two temporarily go into a beam struggle, with Raditz then coming out on top. This attack did a good amount of damage, and it seems now Raditz is finally ready to finish him off. Just as he wanted, he'll avenge Kakarot and kill Boo right here, right now. Although, this is where he makes a mistake. His anger blinds him, and in the heat of the battle, he didn't notice. Behind him, a piece of Boo regenerates into another copy of Boo. While Raditz aims a blast at the seemingly defenseless Boo, he's attacked from behind, then grabbed by Boo as he takes a page out of Kakarot's book, performing an attack that he took from Vegeta, a final explosion. This explosion is powerful. Raditz ends up surviving, but he's still severely injured. But it's too late. Just as he gets up, Boo arrives, and decides he doesn't want this power to go to waste. He could kill Raditz right here, but that wouldn't be fun. Raditz stands up, but then his leg is caught on something, and he sees pink slime wrapped around his foot. Slowly the sludge expands, crawling up Raditz and absorbing him, as it's then accumulated into Boo. Everyone on the world of Kais is shocked. They watch what happens and they see Boo has now absorbed Raditz. So not only did Raditz not defeat him, but Boo grew stronger. I guess a fitting new name for him would be Booditz. Nah, I'm not gonna call him that sounds really weird. Let's just stick with Boo for now. I'm gonna keep that in, that was kind of funny. Jokes aside, there does seem to be one more option. One that they were already told about, but one that they hoped that they didn't have to resort to. So Tenshinhan actually had a great idea. During his training, he learned a technique called the fusion dance. Maybe, if he and Gohan were to fuse, this would work. However, there are a few issues. One, his power's kind of in an odd spot. He's way stronger than all the humans, but in terms of the Saiyans, he's a little bit weaker, so this would hold the fusion back in terms of its potential power. And also, Gohan would have to learn the fusion dance. If they fail, well, they don't really have the time to recover. They need to get to Earth right away. But bringing this up was a great idea, because Elder Kai has another suggestion. That being the Patara earrings. Ten's a little schmiz that he can't use the fusion dance yet, but at least he knows it for later. Something called the Patara earrings is something that the Kais wear, and using these accessories, two fighters can fuse into one. There is kind of a downside though. It seems that the fusion may be permanent, as it is with him. And that's the reason why they didn't want to resort to this. But it seems there's no other way. Thankfully, they still have two really strong fighters here, that being Gohan and Tenshinhan. It's an unlikely duo, but the two of them are up for the task. Although they're hesitant at first, they ultimately decide to fuse. Elder Kai hands them the earrings, asking if they're entirely sure about this. Of course, it's a tough decision, but they decide to go with it. If they don't do this, how else would they save Earth? Everyone else on the planet watches as both of them put their earrings on. Gohan and Tenshinhan then collide, as they form into one person. After a bright flash of light, a new fighter is revealed. This new fusion is absolutely speechless. He looks down at his hands, and then looking in a nearby lake to see what he looks like. The power that he has now is unfathomable. The fusion of Tenshinhan and Gohan. He calls himself Tenshinhan. Wait, he calls himself Gohan. Wait, he calls himself Goten. Wait, no, that doesn't work either. Naming himself is kind of the hardest part of this. Okay, none of those names are gonna work, so why not Tenhan or Tianhan? Whatever, that's not important right now. He rolls with it. Tenhan is fully healed as he's then brought to Earth. Chi-Chi watches on, hoping that they can win, and also hoping that this isn't permanent, because Gohan is now half bald and has 3 eyes. No offense to Ten Shinhan, but that's not really a good look for Gohan. Shin wishes the fusion luck, as he then rockets off to fight Buu. Buu's surprised, another fighter is here. While confident, Tenhan isn't too overly cocky. The power of Buu combined with that of Raditz, well, it's definitely something to be feared. But thankfully, Tenhan might be able to do the job. In base, he's slightly disadvantaged, because Buu is so strong now. Buu is confident, even though these two fuse together, their combined powers still aren't enough to fight him. Thankfully, this isn't his full power, not even a fraction of it. Tenhan then powers up, going into Super Saiyan. This levels the playing field, but it may not be enough to kill Buu due to his regeneration. He continues fighting, able to outpace the Majin. Buu is angered. No matter what he do, he can't damage this new fighter. He tries all of his attacks, using techniques from Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz even. But nothing works. He even turns Tenhan into candy, but somehow, the candy is still able to fight back. And actually, turning him into candy gives him an advantage. So, he turns him back to normal. How is this fusion so strong? Tenhan's not going to play around though, and he tries to think of a good way to defeat Buu. He would try and use Super Saiyan 4, but given the fact that Gohan can't even hold it for a long time, it may not be reliable, especially because the Ten Shinhan half of the fusion doesn't even have access to it at all. So, going into Super Saiyan 4 might be unstable and draining. However, he has mastered Super Saiyan and a level above that, powering up further into Super Saiyan 2. And on top of that, he has another technique that he has a mastery over, Kaioken. This may not work at the moment, but it seems more reliable in Super Saiyan 4, so they test it out, going into Super Saiyan 2 stacked with Kaioken. This power is just incredible, and he greatly overpowers Buu, but something's holding him back from killing the Majin. Raditz is still inside of him, and they don't really want to kill Raditz if there's a way to get him out. In Super Saiyan 2 Kaioken, he's able to hold off the Majin while he thinks of a plan, and then he gets a great idea. Something that may be able to save Raditz, but they're not entirely sure if it'll work. But whatever, they could always revive Raditz alongside Kakarot. With Buu now all beaten up, he then looks surprised as Tenhan then goes back into his base form. He has a technique that'll destroy every single bit of Buu. One of Ten Shinhan's techniques. He lifts his hands up in the air and then calls for everyone to lend him energy. On the world of Kais, everyone else helps. Chi-Chi, Piccolo, and Krillin lift their hands up, with the Kais following. Thankfully, some of the other fighters on Earth survive too. Yamcha, Goten, Trunks, all the other fighters lend their energy as well. Roshi, Mr. Satan, Videl. The bomb grows bigger and bigger. Almost too big. If he launches it now, the Earth may be destroyed. This isn't like the world of Kais, which is very durable. And for this reason, Buu calls his bluff. And he's right. The fusion needs to be careful. He can't launch it right at Buu right now because otherwise, the Earth will blow up. And Buu then rushes towards the fusion. Instinctively, to fight back, Tenhan then jumps into Super Saiyan 2. But when this happens, the Spirit Bomb starts shrinking. All of the energy from the Spirit Bomb is being channeled into Tenhan. He's confused, he doesn't even know what's going on either. Buu doesn't care. He punches him, but as he does, his fist just disintegrates. He can't even regenerate it. Tenhan has an odd glow around him. All the power of the Spirit Bomb has been channeled within his body. Buu keeps trying to attack, but every time he does, he just takes damage. The fusion realizes that this is gonna work. He focuses all his energy into one attack, then hitting Buu right in the chest with one massive punch. A bright blue and white explosion occurs. As Buu screams in agony, he slowly starts disintegrating, due to the power of the punch as well as the power of the Spirit Bomb within it. Desperately, Buu launches one last blast, but the fusion completely disregards it, with the beam doing absolutely no damage. Buu screams as he finally fades out of existence, now dead. Tenhan catches his breath, powering back down into base. But just as he does, he then defuses. What was that about? They thought the fusion was permanent, but maybe it wasn't. It must have had something to do with the Spirit Bomb. But now with Buu defeated, everything can be restored. From Namek, everyone on Earth gets revived, including Raditz alongside Kakarot, although they do exclude the evil people from the Wish. It's a shame that Vegeta and Nappa got caught up in this. Raditz and Kakarot aren't too keen on reviving them, but it gets them thinking. The prospect of more Saiyans definitely is interesting. They'll sit on this idea. Everyone else is just confused. They can't seriously be considering reviving those two Saiyans. Well, maybe not. It's clear those two are being controlled, and maybe their evil deeds can be rectified. The twins laugh as everyone else looks speechless. Well, with Buu's defeat, this calls for a celebration. 3 cheers to Gohan and Ten Shinhan. They saved the day. Well, Elder Kai deserves some credit too. This wouldn't have happened without him. He's the real hero here. Also, Tenshinhan remembers earlier. One of the reasons he couldn't fuse was because his power was in a weird spot. He's very strong, but he still needs to get stronger, and there seems to be the perfect technique waiting right there for him. Just like one of his rivals, Raditz, he's going to pursue getting the ultimate form. As soon as he returns to King Kai, he has to be taken to Elder Kai. And, given how great of a student he is, King Kai accepts this. And with that out of the way, let's end this part here. So what did you guys think about this part? What do you think will happen next time? And as for Vegeta and Nappa, do you think Kakarot and Raditz will actually decide to revive them? The reason I ask is because a lot of you were asking it before. And if anyone can come up with a good enough justification, I'll consider doing it in this series. But until then, they'll stay dead for now. Leave any thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'll be sure to check them out to see what you guys think. As always, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like. And let's try and hit that like goal so we can get another part to the series. If you haven't already, why not subscribe? As well as hitting the bell icon to get notified about any future parts of this what if, or any other videos that I upload on my channel. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.